Let's look at more problems of graphing quadratics in standard form. So the key is, remember, is that if you're going to graph a parabola, let's have an example. Let's say we're going to graph y is equal to minus x squared plus 6x plus 11. So the first thing let's do is let's identify a, b, and c. So in this case, a is equal to minus 1, b is equal to 6, and c is equal to 11. Right? Because it's written in the form y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. So the first thing that you do would be to find the vertex. And the vertex, the x value is minus b over 2a. So in this case, that would be minus 6 over 2 times minus 1, which would be a minus 6 over a minus 2. The negative over the negative, that is canceled. That's 6 over 2. That becomes a positive 3. So the x value of the vertex is a positive 3. Now to find the y value, you plug in x equals 3 into the original equation. So that's minus x squared plus 6 times x plus 11. What I like to do is everywhere there's an x, put a parentheses, and then let's plug that in. Now be careful with your signs. This is a positive 3. Now, here you have a negative 3x squared. You do the exponent first. 3 squared is 9 times a minus 1, so that's a minus 9. Minus 9 plus 18 plus 11. Minus 9 plus 18, that's going to be a positive 9. 9 plus 11 is going to be 20. The next step, after you find the vertex, so you have the vertex. The vertex is 3, 20. So the next thing you can do is you can find the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry is simply a vertical line that goes through the vertex. So since it's vertical, it's going to be x equals something. Since it goes to the vertex, it's just x is equal to 3. And that's your axis of symmetry. At that point, you could even start to graph it. I'm just going to graph it without graph paper just to see what it looks like. That's going to be 320. The vertex is 320. 320 is going to be way up here. That's the vertex, 320. You have a vertical line, which is the axis of symmetry. X is equal to 3. The next thing to do is you need to find 2 points. Now, our original equation is y is equal to minus x squared plus 6x plus 11, so we know it opens down. So you can find 2 additional points by doing an xy graph. Let's put the vertex in the middle. That's 3 and 20. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to solve for y by choosing any x's I want to. I can choose one x that's more positive than 3 and one x that's more negative than 3. So I'm going to choose 5, and let's see, the distance between 3 and 5 is a positive 2, so I'll go back, I'll go minus 2, so that's 3 and 1. The reason I do that, you don't have to do it that way, but that way the distance between these two numbers is 2, and the distance between those two numbers is 2. And if you do that, then the y values for both will be the same. So I'm going to cover up the graph for just a second so I can solve these. Given x, the way you solve y is just plug it in. So you go y is equal to minus x squared plus 6 times x plus 11. Simply put a parentheses where the x is. I'm going to put in a 1, so that's 1 squared and 1. So 1 squared is 1, so that's minus 1 plus 6 plus 11. That's going to be minus 1 plus 6 is 5. 5 plus 11 is going to be 16. Now let's choose, find out what the other y is by plugging in x equals 5. So it's minus 5 squared plus 6 times 5 plus 11. 5 squared is 25, so that's minus 5. I'm sorry, that's 5 squared is 25, so that's minus 25 plus 30 plus 11. Minus 25 plus 30 is going to be 5, and 5 plus 11 is going to be 16. If you notice, these two values are the same because the distance between the vertex and the two x's are the same, even though one's positive and one's negative. Graph it. I would generally use graph paper, but here I just want to sketch out what I'm doing here. 5, 16. It's going to be roughly there. And then 1, 16 is going to be roughly there, and you get something that looks like this. And that's how you graph quadratics in standard form. I want to just start with the next problem, just so you see how it's set up. Let's say you want to graph y is equal to minus x squared plus 5. So in that case, a is equal to minus 1, and c is equal to 5. But if you notice, there is no b there, right? It's y is equal to ax squared plus bx plus c. There is no b, so b is 0. So let's form the vertex. The vertex is x is equal to minus b over 2a, which is minus 0 over 2 times a minus 1. That's 0 over minus 2, which is just 0. That's the x value of the vertex. To find y, you plug in x equals 0, so it's minus 0 squared plus 5. 0 squared is obviously 0, minus 0 plus 5 is just 5. So here your vertex is going to be 0, 5. Your axis of symmetry is going to be x equals 0. Now you just do a table of values and you're done. Anyway, that's how you graph quadratics when they're written in standard form.